So this concludes our first episode of our flexibility spirit. Hi, I'm Melanie the Physio, also the co-founder of Capital Physiotherapy here in Australia. Now today is the first episode of our flexibility series. Now I've been asking you guys whether you guys prefer a quick tip video or a follow along video, and I got lots of comments saying that you guys prefer a follow along video. So here it is. By the whole of this episode where we touch on every single part of our body joint, hopefully if you follow them and do them consistently, then your body as a whole would be more flexible than when you first started them. Now today in the first episode of this flexibility series, we're gonna do some stretches all along your spine, so for all the way from your neck to your lower back. So this is a perfect exercise for anyone who want to increase the flexibility of your neck, your mid back, or your lower back. So without further ado, let's go! Now we're gonna begin by sitting on the floor or on the chair. If you find sitting cross-legged quite difficult, you can sit on a chair to start with. That's totally fine. Now we're gonna begin rolling our neck back and forth, just a general neck movement to begin with. Now I like to start all my stretch with just some general movement before I move on to a static stretch. Good. Now to start with, flexibility of your neck. The first exercise is what we call an upper trap stretch. You're gonna sit on your hand, and if you're sitting on a chair, you can hold on to the base of your chair and tilt your ear towards your shoulder and just pull the neck straight to the side, and you should feel a stretch at the side of your neck here. Now we're gonna hold this stretch for 30 seconds. Now, a lot of people do this stretch. This is not an uncommon stretch. It's quite a common one that a lot of people do, but what I find is that people don't hold the stretch long enough. Now, if you want to increase your flexibility of your muscle in any form, you gotta have to at least hold them for 30 seconds or more, generally speaking. If you just hold them for a quick 10-15 seconds, it's not going to be long enough to stretch out any of your muscle permanently. So length of holding is important, and also frequency of doing them is important. So if you can do this frequently, and if you can do that for a long haul or long duration, then that's the maximum benefit that you're going to get in terms of increasing your neck flexibility. Now we're going to move on to the next side, and again hold it for 30 seconds. Now this is just one of the neck muscle. We have a lot of neck muscle, and this is the most common one that people normally do, but the next few that I'm going to show you is something that a lot of people generally don't know about, or they missed out doing it. Now this is right at the side of your neck muscle, so we're stretching the side of your neck muscle here. 30 seconds, we're going to hold it for. Good. Now every exercise that we do today, you should feel a stretch sensation, not really like painful. Anything that you pull to the point of pain, that's a little bit too much stretch, yeah? So you should feel stretching, but not pain. Good, keep holding there for a few more seconds to go. Now like I say, if you don't like to count with a timer, like whether this is 30 seconds or not, I don't know, then just hold it for as long as you can. I generally, when I stretch, I don't have a timer with me. I'm lazy like that. But I generally just hold it as long as I can, or hold it to the point that I feel that, okay, this is getting less stretchy, like it's getting less intense to stretch, then I know I've stretched enough, and then I move on to the next exercise. Good. Now the next one we're gonna stretch is to stretch the back of your neck. So you're gonna turn your head diagonally to the opposite side, and you're gonna point your nose down to your armpit. Again, you're gonna sit on your hand, nose down to your armpit, and point it downwards, and use your other hand to pull your neck straight down. And this time round, you should feel a stretch at the back of your neck, not the side, the back of your neck this time round. And then hold it down. This exercise I find is really good for people who sit a lot with their work. So either if you're an office warrior, we always call them office warrior, or if you are a driver of some sort, like an Uber driver or a truck driver, someone who sits a lot, where their neck is always like poking slightly forward, this stretch is the best for them. There we go, good. Keep pulling your neck down and feel the stretch. Keep holding it at least for 30 seconds or to the point that you feel that the tension of the stretch is starting to ease off. Then you can move on to another side. Now, the other side, same thing, sit on your hand or grab onto the base of your chair, diagonal to the opposite direction, nose down to your armpit. I'm gonna pull it straight down. This is my first follow along video. I don't know how this is gonna go. It's kind of a mystery. So you guys tell me if you like this or you don't like this. If there's anything that I can improve on, just let me know down in the comment section below. There you go, keep pulling your neck down and feel the stretch at the back of your neck and hold that there. And come back up. Now we've stretched the side of your neck, the back of your neck, then we're gonna move on to the front of your neck. Now this time around, you don't have to sit on your hand. I do want one of your hand. The side that you're stretching is the side you're gonna hold that collarbone down. So press that collarbone down, turn your head diagonally away from the side that you're stretching, and this time around you're gonna tilt your head diagonally backwards. And you should feel a pull at the front of your neck here. You can use your other hand to pull your neck back and then hold that position there. This is to stretch the front of your neck. Keep pulling your shoulder down, so you don't want to struck your shoulder up like that, then that's not gonna really stretch it. You're gonna pull one side down and pull one side diagonally back. That direction. Feel the stretch at the front of your neck. Very good. Hold that there. A lot of people actually don't know about this stretch. But if you think about it, muscle is all around us, right? You can stretch the side, you can stretch the back. Don't forget about the front. Good. Hold that there a little bit more. Perfect. Now same thing on the other side, we're gonna hold down our collarbone. I'm gonna hit my mic. You're gonna hold down your collarbone diagonally to the other side. You're gonna tilt, use your hand to tilt your head back and diagonally. And then you feel the stretch at the front of your neck. Keep pulling that collarbone downwards and hold that there for 30 seconds. Now this series doesn't help with the strength of any of your muscles. These series are purely for flexibility of your body. So if you're someone who is really stiff and you want to improve your range a little bit, then this series is gonna help you. But if you want to, then once you have the flexibility of the joint, but if you don't have the control of the muscle to hold it, you will still at high risk of injury. So I highly recommend you check out our stabilizing series, which we have done already. I'll put a link up in the description box up there. You can do those exercises to help with strengthening your joint. But these series are not for strengthening, they are generally just for flexibility purposes. There you go. Good, and come back. Alright, so that's neck stretches done. I hope you feel a little bit looser around your neck joint. Now we're gonna move on to our mid-back now. Now mid-back generally are for rotational. That's what the main purpose of mid-back is. So again, we're gonna start off with general just twisting of your spine first, hands out across, and we're gonna twist left and right, just like that. Just general movement first before we move on to our static stretch. There we go. Now all these stretches are excellent after a long day of work. It's just something easy to do, something you don't really have to think about too much, and just very easy to incorporate through your days. Now, we're gonna lie down on the floor now. You can have a mat or you can don't, doesn't really matter. Good. Now, we're gonna lie on the side now. Bend your legs, so make sure your hip is stacked on top of the other and your shoulder stacked on top of the other. And you're gonna pull your arms, the top arm, right across to your elbow, to your shoulder, and then open up the chest. There we go. And feel a stretch right at your back. A lot of people do this exercise wrong by like if their mid back is stiff, they don't actually rotate their mid back enough. They actually just push their shoulder down and then they feel that shoulder stretch instead, which is not bad, but that's not the goal of this particular stretch. So you really want to twist your chest back towards the floor without twisting your hip though. So if you're twisting your hip, again, you're not stretching it. You're gonna make sure your hip is nice and still and you're just rotating from the middle back and extend your arms out without pushing your shoulder down too much. Just go to the point of your back, how far they can go, the limit of your mid back. Again, hold that there for a good 30 seconds. A lot of people ask, how am I so flexible, or do I stretch a lot throughout my day-to-day life? Surprisingly, to be honest, I don't do a lot of stretch throughout my work life or throughout my life in general. I'm not a person that stretch a lot because I am quite flexible already to begin with. I don't struggle a lot with stiffness issue like that. For me anyway, that's not my major concern in terms of my health and well-being. Like stretch and tightness was never my issue because I dance since young. I started dancing since I was 3 and I didn't stop until I was 16 when I came to Australia. I'm from Malaysia, by the way. And I came to Australia when I was 16 and that's when I stopped dancing. So throughout my whole childhood, I suppose, we're gonna change to the other side now. Turn the other way and then reach across shoulder to your elbow, all the way, stretch across and twist that mid back there. And then hold it there for at least 30 seconds. So yeah, so throughout my childhood, because obviously with ballet, it's all about flexibility and strength. So I've been doing a lot of flexibility exercise and strengthening exercise all along my childhood life. And since then, I've actually is quite flexible, I think solely because of that. And also because of ballet, I think my posture are pretty good. Like I generally don't sit slouching or stand slouching, and that's just from young. I've been taught to stand up tall and engage my core and things like that just from learning ballet. So flexibility was never really my issue. And then in adulthood, even though I don't dance anymore, I still like to do a lot of exercise that is sort of artsy. So I like aerial dance, I like figure skating, and both of these sports, even though I'm not great at any of them, requires flexibility. So I just never lose what I've achieved since young. So since young, I've always, because of ballet, I've gradually built up my flexibility, and since then I never stopped doing things that require flexibility, so I never really lose them. Good. And come back to the middle. I'm just rambling now, aren't I? Now we're gonna move on to our lower back. We're gonna huck our knee to chest and then we're just gonna rock them side to side first. Again, just with general movement first before we move on to static hold stretches. There we go. And Some people are born hypermobile, so their joints are just a little bit more flexible, but doesn't mean that their muscle is flexible though. A lot of people, their joint is hypermobile, and you know that because you twist your finger like this and they go really, really far. And that's one of the signs that this person is slightly hypermobile to begin with, or they can like reach their elbow, like, you know, the tongue can reach their elbow and things like that, like their joint is just really flexible, genetically speaking. But I don't think I'm genetically hypermobile to begin with. I think I'm just trained to do that way because I have two sisters and they are stiff as rod. Like, they are definitely not flexible. So I think it's more environmental that I've become a bit more flexible, not genetically. I'm not born like that. Now, lower back stretches. We're gonna start off now. Lower back do a lot of bending and arching. That's what our lower back do. So we're gonna come and turn around onto our hands and knees, so into a crawling position, and we're gonna go into child pose. So we're gonna stick our bum back and reach all the way and lean forward and touch our bum to our heel and then reach our arm forward. Now once you're in this position, turn your palms so then they're facing up. Hold that there, you should feel a stretch all across from your lower back up to your arms there. Hold that there for 30 seconds. In Australia right now, it's winter going on spring, and I have really bad hay fever, like really, really bad hay fever. So my nose is constantly blocked half my life. So sometimes you might find that my voice sounds a little bit weird. That sounds like my nose is a bit blocked. It's because of my hay fever. And you can imagine during COVID time, me sneezing and yeah, people get scared because of my allergy. I have to constantly explain that it's my allergy. Now rotate your body to the right side, and you should feel a little bit more pulled on one side of your body, and hold that there for another 30 seconds. Good. Nice long breath. And then we're going to rotate to the other side now. Good. And again, hold that stretch. You want to make sure that your bum is constantly pressed down onto your heel while you're holding this stretch. Like I say, I'm terrible at counting, so I don't really know if I've hold it for more than 30 seconds or not. I'll put a timer there. I'm sure it's more than 30 seconds, but like I say, the minimum you want to hold for is 30 seconds. There is no harm holding a stretch for longer than 30 seconds. Actually, the longer you hold it for, the better it is to stretch out your muscle. I'll come back to the middle, into a crawling position now, and then we're gonna stretch out our legs and slowly bend our elbow and come onto your tummy. Now bring your hands right to your chest level, and you're gonna extend your arms up while relaxing your hip, so your hip doesn't go any further up. And we're gonna arch our back and then feel a stretch on our lower back. Now a lot of people do this with their shoulder. Don't do that. That's completely not engaging your muscle at all. Make sure you squeeze your shoulder blade back and down away from the ear and extend your arms, and then hold that there. So engage your shoulder muscle while you're stretching your lower back. Hold that there for 30 seconds. Now if you find this position a little bit too hard, like you can't actually extend your arms all the way, that it just hurts your back too much, that's okay. Come down and do it on your elbow instead. Yeah, start off with your elbow and slowly work your way up to your wrist, and that's absolutely fine. Everyone go at their own pace, so whatever makes you comfortable, whatever makes you feel the stretch but not to the point that it's straining your body, that's the perfect exercise for you. Okay? Ooh. That's my phone going. There you go. Hold that there for 30 seconds. I swear to God, my phone never rings, never rings. And then of course, when I'm doing a video, it rang. It's just the best timing always, isn't it? Makes it look like I'm very popular, that people is calling me, but really I'm not. Good, and then come back down. Good, and then come into a crawling position. Now we're gonna arch our entire spine by looking up and tilting your tailbone up towards the ceiling. And then now one vertebra at a time, starting from your tailbone, you're gonna tilt your lower back downwards, arch your mid back, and then your neck last. All the way, chin tucked in towards your chest. And then now we're gonna reverse this movement. So we're gonna move our neck first, looking up, arching our mid back one vertebra at a time, and then tilt our tailbone last. You're gonna repeat this for a few reps. Off we go, one segment at a time, arching, arching, arching. Curve into a nice C-shaped curve. And then neck look up, shoulder blade back and down, mid back down, tailbone last. Good. And then again, tailbone down, mid back arching, neck all the way down. Good. So that concludes our series of spinal stretch. So we start from the neck to the mid back and to the lower back. If you don't have any equipment, this is it for you. I hope you enjoy this series, but for someone who have foam roller, stay tuned because we're going to use a foam roller to start mobilizing our middle back as well. So those of you who doesn't have foam roller, I highly recommend you get them because it's one of the equipment that we will be using in our flexibility series for quite a number of times throughout the entire body series. So if you don't have them, I'll put a link down in the description box below to tell you where you can get them. But I find I am not affiliated to any of these links. I literally just search them online and then put it down in the description box. I don't get any benefits from it. And what I realized is in the past, some of the links that I put, they actually change the product over time. Like with the same link, it comes up with a different product. So maybe if you're watching this a year later or something, make sure you click the link and check that it is the product that I'm recommending before you buy them. Okay, so those of you who have foam roller, let's go get them. Now the last exercise, we're gonna use a foam roller and we're gonna start mobilizing our middle back. And this is the best exercise that I find. My husband loves this because he does have a really stiff back. So what I want you to do is put the foam roller horizontally and you want to find your last rib cage. Now for ladies, it's easy because that's where your bra stripe is. Now for men, I want you to take a deep breath and feel where is the last bit of the expansion. That's where you want to put the foam roller, okay? So you're gonna put the foam roller on the last bit of your rib cage. Put your hands behind your neck. And a lot of people do this exercise wrong by arching their lower back too much. Now you don't want to arch your lower back for this exercise. This exercise is purely for mid-back mobilizing. So you're gonna tuck your core and you're gonna arch from the middle back, not the lower back, the middle back. And we're gonna slowly move the foam roller up towards the base of your neck and then all the way down to your last rib again. Now you want to try to push the chest down as much as you can, again within comfortable range. It will be if you really do have a stiff back, you'll find that this is quite uncomfortable, but I kid you not, there is very little risk at doing this exercise. So if it's really, really uncomfortable, go at your own pace, but even if you accidentally go too hard, it's not gonna cause too much harm, yeah? It might just be uncomfortable for the next few days. It will be okay. Practice this a couple of times a week, and you will find that after a couple of weeks that it will get so much easier. This is the best exercise. Now you're gonna do that up and down for, I would say, at least 10 to 20 roll. Good. And sometimes the foam roller move up, and that's okay, like mine. We're gonna shift our position again and then find the right position, and we're gonna do it again. Open up your chest and roll. Good. Now make sure you constantly have your hands support your neck here, so then your neck doesn't just like drop down. That's really bad for your neck. So this concludes our first episode of our Follow Along Flexibility series, and it works on the entire spinal range. And I hope you enjoyed it. And I generally would recommend when you first start and you feel that you're really stiff in your entire spine to do this every day. So every day after work, do this, yeah? And the whole point of this flexibility series is to touch on every single joint of our body, and my goal is hopefully everyone will follow them every day for 2 weeks with one particular series, because we're gonna do them every fortnight, this flexibility follow along series. So for the first 2 weeks, you will follow on one series and then move on to the next series for the next 2 weeks. And then by the end of this whole flexibility series, I hope that you will find that your general entire body is just more flexible than when you first start this series. I will see you in the next video. Until then, stay safe, happy, and healthy. See ya!